Well, hello. Today we're talking to Marita Cheng, who is the youngest member of the Order of Australia, inducted in 2019. In 2018, she was Forbes, one of the world's top 50 women in tech. In 2016, she was Forbes 30, and in 2012, the Young Australian of the Year. A tech entrepreneur and a woman in technology advocate. Marita, that's quite a rap sheet for someone so young. You're also the founder of CEO of Aubot, which makes a telepresence robot for kids with cancer in hospitals so that they can continue to go to school. But it also helps people with disabilities attend work and help monitor and engage with elderly people. This is quite an outstanding achievement, really, and clearly transformative in the world of healthcare. So we're very excited and grateful that you were willing to chat to us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Delighted to be here.
Wonderful. I imagine, like everybody, last year was an interesting and challenging year with COVID. I wonder, as someone who was in this startup tech world, how did you find 2020 and COVID-19, and what leadership lessons did you learn through that process?
Sure. Well, I think, like everyone, like a lot of people, like it was very weird and very surprising. And I didn't know that lockdown could go on for so long. I saw the figures and I thought, oh yes, it would be safe for everyone to not interact, but to actually go through that experience is very different, and something that is very socially isolating. And it really did require me to think about how my team and I work together in order to achieve our objectives. And I think we came up with some really good procedures to work together effectively. I think we learned about asynchronous communication, and really front loading work, and front loading instructions. And so what I like to call it is front loading asynchronous communication. So basically you try and communicate everything, or as much as possible, in order for the other person to know exactly what you're talking about, so they can take that task and then run with it until they meet with you again. And so there doesn't have to be constant back and forth between the two of you. And so I really invested a lot into that in my teams. Just making sure all my team members had everything set up as much as possible. And then I do regular team meetings with them at specific times. The more that you meet with your team, the more that you give your team members feedback, the more engaged they are in working at your company. And so I try and meet with my team members at least once a week, if not 2 to 3 times a week. So there's always that feedback that I'm giving them, so they know exactly what they need to improve on, how to grow. So by having these structured times when I meet with different members of my team, it means that I can also manage my time better, where it's okay, well, this chunk of time is when I do meetings, so that's my manager time. And then these other days, I'm gonna not have meetings, so I can have maker time, and I can focus on growing the company in terms of what project should we work on next year, where should I allocate my team's resources after they finished this project, and also what projects am I working on now that I need to move forward, or what actions do I need to take to move the company forward. And so I think that's been really, really helpful in terms of making me really effective, and also giving me control over my time. I think sometimes when you're working in an office setting, it's really easy to just call on someone and have that constant feedback and constant banter. And sometimes it can mean it is difficult to concentrate on your work and to move forward on those big projects that require more thought and creativity that you don't get if you're interrupted every 5 or 15 minutes.
Are there any other leadership lessons that COVID-19 has taught you, other than that time management and thinking through the work cycle and how that works for everybody in that ecosystem of your company?
Well, I think that one's a big one, because it's really meant, I have all this time to just think through and create like new projects and new plans and new things for my team to work on. I think it's also highlighted how important it is, those moments that you do spend with your team. And so really investing a lot of energy into the times that you are meeting with them, so that you're paying attention to them that entire time. You're giving them all your energy, all your attention, making sure that like it's their work that your brain is working on, so that they can get the feedback they need to grow.
And what about feedback for you? Do you have mentors? And if so, who, and how do you make that relationship work for you?
Yeah, I have a lot of mentors. I have, for mechanical engineering, Diane Boddy, who's 85 years old, and she lives in Victoria. And I met her because a mutual friend of ours said, oh, if you're building something mechanical, you need to talk to Diane. She's the best in Australia. She won an award for being the best mechanical engineer in Australia in 2009. And he said, if you want anything built correctly, like learn from her. And he wouldn't let me get off the phone until I said I would go and meet with her. So I went and met with her, and she mentored me in building our first robots and taught me the proper way to do things and taught me how to think like an engineer. I kept saying to her, I was in awe of her, and I still am. And I said, what's your secret? How do I be the best mechanical engineer? And she'd reply with the same answer every time. She'd say, you just have to keep your eyes open. You have to be curious, have to look at how things work, look at how people build their products here, there, take it apart and learn from that. And then you'll build a repository of techniques for how to create things and how to solve things. And I believe that's the same, whatever industry you're in, like keep your eyes open, keep learning, learn about different industries, learn about how people do things in different areas. And then when the time comes, you'll have all these solutions in your head for how you could solve your problem.
Wonderful. So she was obviously a leading female engineer, and you yourself are quite an advocate of women in technology and women in engineering. What would you say, or how do you encourage girls who are considering a career in this field?
Yeah, I think it all stems down to being really inspired and excited about what you're working on and about the impact that you can have in the world. I meet a lot of young girls and they say, oh, I'm interested in maths and science. I think I should be a doctor. I think I should do medicine. But it's about saying to them, well, there's so many other opportunities. You could like build systems that impact millions of people's lives, or build structures, buildings, biological advancements. Like, the COVID vaccine, it's really a marvel that everything was able to come together so quickly. And yeah, that's what a career in maths and science can lead to. So I think it's, just sparking that imagination in them as to what they can achieve. And then that's what will get girls in. And then, in terms of like having women stay in STEM, I think it's important to have good structures and good role modeling at every step of the way, so that women know how they can navigate their way through that career. Also, actually, on the subject of mentors, I said I had a lot of mentors, and so Diane's my mechanical mentor, but I also have like a business mentor. I have like people in the disability field who mentor me. I have robotics mentors. I have an electrical engineering mentor, and so I think like I realized that I couldn't find everything just in one person, because there was so many things that I wanted to develop, and so that's what I think is a good way to approach a mentor. It's thinking, not one person is going to have all the skills that I need, and so sometimes I'll need a different mechanical, robotics, or electrical mentor, or a business mentor, and I think that's worked really well, because if I have an electrical question, then that mentor can go really deep into that, or robotics question, that mentor can go really deep into that. And I think that with mentors, like to grow a long-term relationship with someone, I go straight to the point, and I say to them, hey, this is my electrical issue. how do I solve it? And so they can see very directly that, you know, I want to learn from them, and that I want to learn from their skills that they have that, you know, other people might not have. And so and so it feels very relevant, rather than a general, hey, can we catch up? It's this is what's going on. Is there a solution? And
obviously you haven't put constraints around your mentors. They really do help you think outside the square. And you mentioned that, you know, looking for solutions that can really change the world. Well, that's something that you've actually gone and done. One of the things that we wanted to talk to you a little bit more about today was AirPoly, an app that helps the visually impaired by recognising and describing objects in real time for them. I know it launched in 2016 and it's now translated into 23 languages and been downloaded over 500,000 times. Can you tell us about that journey and what you've learned?
Sure. Yeah. So I was actually doing a course in Silicon Valley called the Graduate Studies Program, and it was all about creating solutions to problems in the world that would impact the lives of a billion people in the next 10 years. So it's very lofty, 1 billion people in the next 10 years. And so my friends and I were thinking, what could we do? And I met with someone who said, I have a friend who's blind, and he puts a lot of thought and energy into getting from place A to place B. He spends hours planning, how's he going to get there? Where does he need to go? Make sure he has everything sorted. But then on the day, he'll get in his taxi, he'll go to the place, he'll get out of the taxi, and he won't know what he's looking at. Is he looking at a building? Is he looking at a car park? Is he looking at the park? Where is he standing? And so it's just really frustrating for him to go to a new place, and really scary. And my friends and I, we thought about the lectures that we'd seen during our course, and we remembered that some of them were about computer vision, having computers recognize everyday objects like a frisbee or a dog in a park. We thought, why don't we put that technology on a phone so that blind people could have access to it anywhere they go, and then they'll be able to recognize different objects. And so we created a prototype that weekend. We called all the blind organizations in the Bay Area, and then we went and saw them with our prototype, and we said, what is it like for you to be blind? How is that for you on an everyday basis? What are the challenges? And we listened to them and what it was like for them. And then after an hour of that, we said, well, this is what we've created. And we showed them the app, and they said, oh, wow, that's amazing. And I remember one of the first things they said was, I've known that there's been this painting in our office for since I worked here for the past 7 years, but I never knew what the painting was. And now I do, because this app has told me that there's a dog there, and then it's got some text there, and it's reading the text out to me. And there was just like so many simple joys in them discovering their surroundings. And we got really amazing feedback. We showed it to 88 blind people that week, and had a really good reception. And so we decided to make it into a real product, and we released it on iPhone and Android, and showcased it at a variety of conferences. We showed it to the then Prime Minister of Australia and the President of Italy, and it's just had an amazing reception around the world. And now we've achieved those results, over 500,000 downloads, 26 amazing languages. So yeah, it's really amazing, what you can achieve if you just ask people what their problems are and how you can help.
So that response has got to have spurred you on now to think what else you can do. What other exciting projects do you have in development for your company now?
Yeah, well, another exciting project I'm working on is actually an 8 degree of freedom robotic arm on a movable platform. So through my work with robotics and working with my mentor, Diane, I realized that we could put a robotic arm on our robot, and we could have it move around and lift things up and interact with the environment. And so we've created that. and we're going to be launching it this year. And it can be used by people remotely to move around someone with a disabilities house and just help out with everyday chores. And yeah, it's really exciting to have like gone around and spoken to all these people with disabilities and then created this product that they can use, or that a carer can use in order to help them around the home.
That's phenomenal. I'm really interested. Obviously, HardyGroup is a company that has quite a specialisation in healthcare. I'm interested in your insights, really, in terms of what you think the future is for digital technologies in healthcare.
Sure. Well, there's been a huge uptake during COVID in telehealth, and I think anyone who's used telehealth will know how convenient that is, that you can just, wait in the comfort of your home to see a doctor, no waiting rooms, no getting there, no sitting in a room full of other people who are ill, waiting to see the doctor. And so I think this trend of telehealth is just going to continue. It's not going to go away. I think now that we're more computer savvy due to COVID than before, we'll see more trends like that. I also think that the digitalization and the personalization of healthcare is going to continue, and I think it's very exciting. Being able to monitor your own health from the comfort of your home on a more regular basis, having all that data to show your doctor, being able to tell earlier on when you might be susceptible to certain diseases, and making lifestyle choices relevant to that. I think all of that is like super exciting, and I think it's a trend that's going to continue.
Mm-hmm. Do you see any new digital technologies or tools on the market that are exciting you at the moment in terms of where we can take things into the future? There's so many. I think definitely the latest advances in computer vision of even just like being able to scan your own face in order to get vitals, and then scanning like your skin and being told about and being able to monitor and keep track of like changes in your moles for melanoma, for example. Even things like being able to take your own urine sample at home and telling for yourself whether you have a urinary tract infection, things like that. I think are really exciting. Rather than waiting at the doctors for that kind of technology, just having in your own home, like even if it's it might cost like $20 or $30 for a kit, but that saves you all that time and money of like transportation, worrying. You can have much faster results sent to your pharmacist and get prescribed the medication you need. I just think there's so many advances, and I think we've even seen it with COVID. A lot of people have created home care kits and a variety of like testing kits, and I think that trend of just getting all these devices into the hands of the consumer is super exciting. It certainly is exciting, and it is really exciting for us to listen to you today and know that there are people like you, Marita, who are thinking about the challenges out there and the possibilities and finding those solutions for us. Thank you for taking the time to talk to us today. It was really appreciated, and all the best from us. We look forward to seeing all the amazing things and the changes and how you really do start to transform people's lives, which is just really fantastic. And hopefully bring many of those girls who are looking at maths and science into robotics, technology and engineering along with you. Thank you.
Thanks, Sarah.